Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine, and I have a book haul to share with you today. All of these items are from Amazon, and I actually have 4 items that aren't books. I'm going to show you those first. The first thing I want to show you is a compass, and we need this for our geometry unit, and we have used this brand before and we really liked it, and so we went ahead and ordered another one. They lasted a really long time the first time, so I think the quality is really spot on. The other thing I want to show you, actually let me just show you this really quickly. We need a lot of beeswax for some candle dipping that we're doing for a unit that we're in right now, and I did not buy enough the first time because I want to fill up our candle making pot so that we can dip candles. You don't need very much if you're going to pour candles or use it for other things, but I found that for our candle pot we probably need about 6 pounds, I think, of candle wax, and I didn't buy enough the first time, and then I mistakenly didn't buy enough the second time either, so I got to place another order. But I want to say that there are a couple of brands of beeswax that I've really been enjoying lately, and one of them is the Texas Beeswax by the Better Shea Butter and Skin Foods company. You can find it on Amazon. It is really pricey compared to other ones, but so far I've been really pleased with it every time that we've ordered it. It doesn't have a bad smell. It doesn't smell chemically, and it has that nice kind of color and scent of honey. There's one other company that I like even better than this one, and that is the Topanga Quality beeswax by Bennett Farms. You can find links to both of these products down in the description box, as well as on my website at pepperandpine.com. All right, so I want to show you a pair of pinking shears, I think is what they're called. This is for a project I'm going to do with my daughter that I meant to do last year, so I feel really bad that I forgot to order these last year. But these are the scissors, wow, those are really hefty, that give you this kind of zigzag cut, and that is for to make some homemade felt food, and this is going to help with that, as well as with our other crafting projects, but especially for the homemade felt food, because we wanted to use this to make, I think, like different kinds of pastas and things like that. So that is what that is for. Okay, the next thing I want to show you, oh, this is really beautiful. I was searching for some really nice flashcards on Amazon, and really it's not the best place to search for really nice flashcards, but I did find this set. It's called Science ABC 26 letter cards, and they're really beautiful, and the illustrations are really nice. But here's my issue, and these were, I think, $20, so not exactly the best deal, I think, but the quality is phenomenal. So here's the thing, is that the content for this, like flashcards, that's like ABC, that's really juvenile, but then the rest of the content on the card, this is more for like elementary or upper elementary or even high school. And so sometimes I have a hard time with products like this where it's, you know, the product itself is geared for a really young student, but the content itself on the product is geared for an older student. So usually this is really difficult, but sometimes this turns out to be really awesome when you're homeschooling with multiple ages, because just the letter, that could be great for a young student, but then the content on the card could be great for an older student. So it's a really great way to bring in multiple ages into a lesson. And Kepler's Laws, we just did this earlier on in the school year, so it's kind of cool to see it on the flashcard. So these are the science flashcards, and it just goes through A to Z science topics. So happy with the quality. Just sometimes, you know, I need to search other places for flashcards, for the decorative nature of it, for the inspiration, not so much that we use flashcards as flashcards are intended to be used in our homeschool. All right, so let's get into the fun stuff. These books, all of them were purchased for one of 2 reasons. The first one is because I saw them on Instagram. I'm going to link the fabulous Lacey Aerosmith Instagram account down in the description box below so that you can go and check out her beautiful things. She had posted a number of these books on her Instagram, and I just love them. And so I went ahead and I put a bunch of them into our Amazon cart. And then lovely Amazon loves to suggest other books that you might be interested in. So thank you so much, because the rest of the books are because we happen to be interested in some of these. All right, so the first one, oh, and they mostly have a nature theme, and this will work well with our nature spring units. And even though we've covered some of these topics before, it it's nice to have these to create a mini unit that might just include more reading versus hands-on projects. So, we'll see. Okay, so Turtle, Turtle, Watch Out. And I bought most of these primarily for the illustrations because I am like a big fan of beautifully illustrated picture books. And what I've noticed with picture books is that they are filled with amazing content. Let me just show you another one here. So you learn so much, and it's a feast for the eyes, and it's just a great educational tool. And so don't underestimate the educational value of picture books. I find them to be one of underrated and often neglected resources. We generally opt for maybe more curriculum type resources or textbooks, and just please try to add some of these. Even if you're not buying them, just go to the library and check them out. This book, oh my goodness, is so gorgeous. Oh my goodness. This is just probably the most beautiful book on whales I have ever seen. It is gorgeous, gorgeous. I highly recommend this one. I didn't even read any of the words yet, but by the illustrations, highly recommend it. Curious Kids Nature Guide. Just along the same theme of just nature studies. Another really beautifully illustrated book with a lot more written content than I normally do for my picture books. So I'm kind of excited to see what this book is going to be about, and the quality and how much we enjoy it. Okay, Moon's Messenger, another beautifully illustrated picture book. Oh wow, look at that. It's such a treat to have these or have access to these kinds of books. And so yeah, I'm just going to get really carried away here. So for a full review of all of these books, once we've used them, you can check back at, and even from now, you can look at all the review videos I've done. They're usually at the tail end of a playlist geared towards that particular unit study. And I usually close out a unit study with a review of the materials that we use. And then you can know the ones that we really loved, the ones that we didn't care for, and the ones that we tend to use again, over and over again. The Map of Good Memories. This one was definitely one that I remember being suggested when we were getting the books on Amazon, and it looked like a captivating book. And so I don't really know much about it except that it's a story of a child who is creating a map memory of good times before she had to leave a war-torn area. And haven't looked much more into it to know anything else, but I thought the idea was really interesting and unique, and of course the illustrations, that is another reason why I got it. Seeds and Trees. So again, you can see the nature theme going on here. This one looks a little bit more like a typical picture book that's fiction versus a more academic and educational picture book. And nonetheless, I like adding a variety of books into our unit study so that you get the picture books that are really great for the young students, the picture books that are academic and educational that are great for the older students that are still a feast for the eyes, and it just really keeps it captivating and interesting for the students. So haven't read any of these, so I apologize if they end up being duds, but please check back for the review video. At least you get to see the insides of these beautiful picture books. Lovely Beasts. I know this is one that I saw on Lacey's Instagram, and the illustrations, again, totally captivating. But this is something else that I really liked about this picture book, is that I like picture books that are suited for multiple ages. So you might have a really, really young child, like maybe you're homeschooling and you have a toddler, for instance. A book like this will be really potentially engaging for a really young child, and you don't even have to read all of the content. You could read just the bold or the titles, so crafter, and then tough, and then but vulnerable, and then you still get the beautiful illustrations. You don't need much more than that for a really young student. But let's say you're homeschooling multiple ages, then you can go and read in the more of the content. I have other books that are like this, and I really like that balance. I think it's really well suited for multiple ages. Sea Bear is another one that I saw on Lacey's Instagram, and it is beautiful. And this one looks a little bit more like a typical picture book, more story driven. And this will be great for a unit on the Arctic or polar bears, or global warming. So anyway, really beautiful picture book. All right, the last one I have for you. Last one, yep, the last one. It's called Bees, and I really thought that I had this already either we had already purchased it or had it on our wish list, because I feel like I remember seeing this, gosh, even over a year ago on Mikhail's channel when she did a bee unit study. And this is kind of cool because it goes into, it looks like the history of bees, and then probably a lot more other amazing content and awesome illustrations. So we already did a bee unit, but what I've noticed for us is that even though we might revisit units that we've done in the past, it's nice to revisit them on a smaller scale, and it just kind of reminds us of the information that we did before. And also with a unit like this on bees, it's always a tasty unit, and so we don't mind revisiting this once a year to roll beeswax candles and have a honey tasting. So now we have another book to add to that unit. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this video. It's a smaller book haul than I typically do. You can find more information about these products as well as some of the unit studies that we've done by tapping on the screen and by visiting the description box below, as well as my website at pepperandpine.com. Don't forget that you can check out what we're doing on a daily basis by visiting me on Instagram at pepperandpine.